family. It is yours truly, King Amari, in the building on today for your Power Couple Mental Fitness. I know you're saying, if it's the Power Couple, where is the Queen? The Queen is busy on today, family. We had some business we need to tend to our actual business. And so the Queen is tending to that. So it's going to be me on here for just right now. It's going down. It's going down. Thank you all for your continued love and support. Okay, we greatly appreciate that. For those who would be so kind at this time, please share and invite. Okay, we getting ready to get busy, man. Got a nice subject for you on the day to clear up the confusion. Okay, make sure if you will be so kind to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. We'll greatly appreciate that. Remember, we're a ministry where we focus on your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. That's right. We're here for your spiritual and your physical, as well as your mental well-being. EY Pele Movement, we're sponsored by El Kebalon Lifestyle, where we provide your African men's and women's clothing, accessories, health and beauty products for your needs. So make sure you go over there and check us out. We are celebrating a total of 3 years in business. That's right, a total of 3 years, and it's because of wonderful customers like yourself who support. We greatly appreciate that. So as I like to always say, without the people, the vision would perish. So we thank you for keeping the vision alive. We're going to take a short commercial break. After that, we'll be right back to discuss the topic on today, which is clear up the confusion. There's so much going on in the world today. Political issues, religious issues, cultural issues that we deal with. We're going to deal with that. Stay tuned.
Service your African men's and women's clothing, accessories, health, and wellness product needs. Visit alkebulanlife.com.
That's right, family. We want to thank you all again for your continued love and support. Make sure you go over there and check us out. Please celebrate our anniversary with us. Again, this is our 3rd year anniversary in business. Yes, sir. You know, we give thanks and we give praise to the universe for blessing us to be able to do so many years in business, man. It's definitely a blessing, especially what's going on right now for us to still be alive and thriving. We give thanks again for, again, all of your continued love and support for helping us to stay in business, shopping with us, sharing and inviting. So again, thank you so much. So we get ready to dive in, but before we do, want to give thanks to Agungun, that which is our ancestors, you known and unknown before us. We want to give thanks. So our ancestors who laid down their life so we can have a better life. We want to give thanks unto them, to our ancestors who fought to maintain and to regain our traditions, spiritual, physical wellness, and our land. Unto our ancestors, we want to give thanks. Yes, and praise unto our ancestors. If you would be so kind, let us know where you're tuning in from. That'd be great. What city and state? That'd be great. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I see that we have a couple of viewers on right now. Please make yourself known. Let me hear from you. Talk to me today. This is a dialogue. It's not a monologue. This is a family discussion that we're going to have, again, as it relates to clearing up the confusion. Okay, clearing up the confusion. All right. There's so much going on in the world on today. There's so many questions people have about the spiritual realm, about what's going on in the natural realm. Okay. Because again, this ministry, we're a spiritual ministry. Okay. We also deal with natural things as well. On Wednesdays, we deal with economics, and on Friday, we deal with relationships. Okay. Today is the day where we're going to deal with some spiritual things. Okay. We're going to, again, clear up the confusion. I do recall, when I was involved in religiosity, you had various denominations, and all of them proclaimed to have heard from God. Okay. But yet the statement is stated that God is not the author of confusion, which leads me to believe then that being that God is not the author of confusion, it lets me know that man is the one that causes confusion. Okay. And this is something that I've come to find in my years of study. Okay. Also with my spiritual walk. A lot of times people try to make your walk, okay, between them and the divine. Okay. Man tends to try to interfere with that, with their opinion. Okay. And start speaking on behalf of this entity that they call God. Okay. And start saying, thus saith the Lord, and thus saith God, and God said this, and God said that, or, they will like to quote a verse and use a personality, Paul, Peter, James, John, things of this nature. What Paul said, what Peter said, well, this person said. Okay, well, I personally don't put my trust in any imperfect being like that. Okay, I don't put my trust in any imperfect being like that. Okay, man has flaws. Okay, none of us are perfect. Okay, and even in the spiritual arena, I've crossed over to that, and it tends to seem to be like even in the spiritual arena, people try to make that perfect. Okay, where my experience, people debate about whether or not Olodumare, some know as God, some know as Yah, some know as Allah. Okay, the debate, or rather, about the gender. Is it a male? Is it a female? Okay, again, we have confusion, right? So to clear up this confusion, all right, we must come to the conclusion that unfortunately some speculate because they have not had an interaction directly, unless they left this earth, okay, out of their body. They had a out of body experience, so they actually had transitioned, and they came back to life, and they actually had an interaction with those individuals. Even then, I will not debate that. Why? Because first of all, if I've never been outside of my body, okay, how can I confirm or deny what they said they have seen on the other side, or what they heard? I wasn't there, so how can I personally debate with somebody who has had an experience, right? So I'm neither going to agree with what they're saying or disagree with what they're saying because of what I aforesaid. So, again, we have the confusion going on with these things, even confusion in the community, about ourselves. The other day we tuned into a program, and on that program, there was individuals on there that was actually debating, about us, and to me, that's a very sad thing when we're debating about ourselves. We have this negative view about our brothers and sisters over in Africa, and a lot of brothers and sisters in America got negative views about our brothers and sisters in Africa. Okay, and we talk like as if though we're not one people. Okay, we somehow think that we're better than each other. And that's the reason why this topic is so important on the day, because of the confusion, okay, that goes on. The delusion that we're not the same. Okay, first of all, I understand that we came from the motherland. For those who did, okay, our ancestors came from there, were not separate. Okay, and because of the lies that have been instilled in the consciousness of some Africans over in Africa, all right, there's some confusion about whether or not we're one people. Okay, and neither one of us are better than the next one. Okay, we have to understand that. We get into these big old arguments, things of this nature about things like that, and it's foolishness. All right. And I say this because we're one. Okay, we're one. We go over to the motherland. We're not considered to be African because we was born in America. That don't make any sense. Okay, that's like saying because my son, okay, was born, you know, in China. Okay, uh, that would not make him Chinese because he was born in China. Okay, my son would still be of African descent because of bloodline, because of DNA. Okay, and somehow we think, you know, the African in America, we renounce our bloodline, okay, and we embrace being so-called American because we was born in America. Okay, now I understand people want to talk about nationality, but let's clear up the confusion. Still, okay, we have to still clear up the confusion because, you know, you cannot separate yourself from your DNA. Period. Point blank is simple. My son can deny me as his father, and that would not mean because he denied me that I'm not his father. The reality is I'm still his father. Period. So you have Africans in America that will renounce their ethnicity, okay, over being something that they're not. Okay. I've literally heard people cut off the African, you know, and they would just say, I'm just American. You understand? Our mindsets have to be set free. Okay. This is something that a lot of us, we wrestle with a lot because of what has happened to our mindsets. Okay. And the African over in Africa don't think that we're African. The African in America don't think we're African, you know, just a bunch of confusion. Okay. And we must understand, you know what I'm saying, that that is what we are. Okay. Bottom line, you know, some of us are confused about what our people practice. Okay. This is the reason why we have to do our research and find out, okay, prior to us being enslaved, how do we live our life? And it's sad to say that some people don't see the importance of that. And it's very important. It's important because it will connect you to yourself. Okay. It will literally connect you to your spiritual system, and you will find out that, you know, we're not practicing a satanic spiritual system. Okay. You know, I listened to some of the teachings of Ifa. Okay. And I have not read anything in here that's told me to curse anybody. I have not read anything in here that's told me, you know, to do wrong to anyone, to rob, to steal, to kill. Okay, nothing in here tells me to commit adultery or to treat my neighbor differently because, you know, they're a different ethnicity. Okay, nothing in E5 that I have learned thus far, okay, that I've been following after for some years now, has taught me to do such things. Okay, and this is the reason why we have to clear the air. You understand? I'm not going to say once and for all because there's too many of us that are brainwashed by colonized ideologies. So I already know that this won't be a once and for all because there's going to be a African that's a Christian that's going to challenge these teachings, that's going to say that it's satanic and it's of the devil because of what has been deposited into the mind of the African. Okay, we have been miseducated. Okay, and therefore we misunderstand our own selves. Okay, and this is the reason why it's important to get this type of teaching, and this is why it's important for us to sit down and listen to these things, because we have to rehearse these things in our ears continuously until we get it as a people. Okay, until there's a reformation of the mindset of the African in America and on the continent of Africa. A lot of us don't even understand that every African in Africa don't know who and what they are. Okay, they don't. Okay, they are just as brainwashed as the African in America. Why? Because the continent of Africa was colonized. Okay, and some of us don't know that they don't know their language. They've been cut off from their culture just like us. They've been raised up just like us to follow after a culture that's not theirs. Okay. And so now you even have in schools now where, you know, they don't want to teach these type of things anymore. You understand? And so why don't they want these things to be taught so that the truth won't be revealed? Okay, so we can continue on going on believing the lies that we've been believing in for centuries. Okay, about ourselves and about those who some of us look up to as them being supreme. Okay, we have to clear the confusion up. They're not supreme to us. Okay, no one is supreme to anyone else. Okay, and we have to clear this thing up. It's not about me being better than you being better than me, us being better than them. You understand? The reason why we have to teach the way we're teaching about self-confidence is because we lack confidence in ourselves, because what has been instilled in us through the lies that have been taught to us. Okay, and I'm talking about the lies about our spirituality. I'm not telling you that every spiritual system in Africa is positive. Okay, I know personally that there are spiritual systems, okay, that they invoke negative energy, elementals, forces, okay, to do wrong to people. Okay, I understand that. All right. Now we have to clear this confusion up, because some of us think that every spiritual system over there, you know what I'm saying, is about positivity, and it's not. Okay, we like to paint these perfect pictures about ourselves too, and that won't fly either. Okay, we got to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us and those that listen to us. It is imperative that we understand that. Okay, I don't believe in running away from, you know, talking about these type of things, because it's imperative for us to deal with these situations. Okay, that has us in such a mentally dilapidated state. Okay. And the only way we can get set free is by acknowledging these things that has actually happened. You have individuals that don't feel like these type of topics of discussion should be discussed. Okay. Some people feel like it's foolish. It doesn't make any sense trying to debunk the lies that have been told about us. Okay. In these spiritual systems. And to me, that don't make sense. Okay. How can you ever overthrow a mindset like that if you never face the reality about what happened? That don't make sense. Okay, just like, you know, no disrespect to my brothers and sisters that practice Ifa. Some say, oh, you can be a Christian, or you could be, listen, you know, you cannot. And I argue the reason why you can't, because in the Old Testament, it talks against divination, which in Ifa, we believe in divination. Okay, so how can you be a practitioner of a religion that tells you that these things are satanic? Okay, it totally goes against what Christian people teach. All right. And this is not to start any argument amongst us, or to start any hate or contention amongst us. Okay, the reason why I'm merciless when it comes to these teachings is because it casts a negative narrative on our people and our spiritual systems, and it also disrespects our ancestors. And I have a problem with that. Yes, I do. Okay. Yes, I do. I do have a problem, okay, with not being able to acknowledge our ancestors because of what a spiritual system teaches that never even belonged to us. Okay, historically. All right. Now, for those who want to debate this thing about Christianity started over in Ethiopia, and also Ethiopia never been colonized, I argue that that's not true. And the reason why I say that is because they have pictures of a Caucasian Jesus over in Ethiopia. So if Ethiopia has never been colonized, and a lot of us, every time we think about colonization, we think about a war, we think about somebody came in there with guns, okay, and forced them into following that religion. Okay, listen, colonization also happens mentally. I'm going to say that again. Colonization also has happened mentally to them over there, because I've literally seen the picture, okay, in the video of the so-called Ethiopian saying that they practice Christianity with a Caucasian Jesus in the picture, okay, which is Caesar by Jonah. So which leads me to believe that they were colonized. Okay? And I have the video footage to prove it to you. So there's some confusion, that's going on in the midst of us. And that confusion is that it's wrong for us to be ourselves. It's not okay for us to be who and what we are. All right? And we're going to celebrate Malcolm X Day this week. We're going to give honor to our ancestor because he laid down his life so that we can have a better life. Okay? And I personally will champion a hero to me that I know historically has actually fought to set us free mentally and physically and economically. Right? But now for some reason, the African today doesn't want to subscribe to ancestral veneration. Acknowledging our ancestors when we did that for centuries, prior to us being prisoners of war and being forced from being able to practice our spirituality, being forced from practicing our culture. Okay? For some reason, we don't know who each other are, because if we did, then we wouldn't be shooting each other. We wouldn't be killing each other. Okay, just like over in Sudan, where historically over in Sudan, and it was on the news years ago, it was on international news, where these brainwashed Muslims went into Sudan who were Africans, killing their fellow Africans because they're Christians, thinking that they're doing their God a favor. Okay? You have African people today who persecute their own people because they've been brainwashed by religious teachings, thinking that they're doing that God a favor, thinking that they're standing up for that God. They renounce their own family members over this religion, will separate themselves from their own family because of these religious teachings, telling you if they don't follow after the teachings of Christ, don't let them in your house. Don't sit down at the table with them. Don't eat with them. You have all these teachings that tell you, okay, to separate yourself from your family. You have teachings in the Old Testament that tell you, if they tell you to come serve another God, that you should stone them. Okay, and your hand should be the first hand to kill them. No wonder why the Muslim, the extremist Muslim who has done that over in Sudan, who killed fellow African family members because of these brainwashed teachings that they've been taught, okay, that lead them to harm their own brother and sister. See, we got to clear up the confusion. Because see, Ifa don't teach us to go kill somebody. Ifa don't tell us to not accept a family member, okay, because they're practicing some other religion. Okay. Now, of course, who wants to affiliate themselves with a family member who believes in cursing people and wishing harm upon people and casting spells on people to do harm to the who would want to associate themselves with a person, who's about doing bad instead of good? I get it. But when it's a spiritual system that teaches you to love, grand rising to you, Barbara Ray Wilkinson, thank you so much for tuning in. When it's a spiritual system that teaches you to love, that teaches you, to go about doing good, okay, how can a spiritual system, because we got to clear up the confusion now, how can a spiritual system that teaches you to do good be bad? How can a spiritual system that teaches you to be righteous be wicked? The reason why we look at ourselves like this is because of the religious system that has been given to us by the one who colonized us. And here's the reason why it don't make sense. Nothing that they gave us was to make us better when they colonized us. And this is something that the African in America and the African in Africa and the Africans throughout the diaspora, or the indigenous people that were already on the continent in Africa or on this continent so-called America, this is something that we have to understand. Why would they give us something for our good when they enslaved us? I have to ask this question. Why would a colonizer give us a system that will better our life? Okay, I'm going to challenge it again. If that be the case and they were about doing us good, then why did they make us work for free? Why did they make us work for free? If they were about doing us good, why did they bomb our ancestors in the churches? If they had our best interests at heart, why did they take us from our land, from our resources, okay, stripped us of our spiritual system, stripped us of our culture, stripped us of our language, stripped us of our history? Some of us don't even know exactly what people we come from. But we would think that they would give us a system, a spiritual system that would be beneficial for us. This is a historical fact they didn't want us to read. So we wouldn't know that they're lying to us. They didn't want us to read. So when we signed contracts, we didn't know that we were signing away our land. But for some reason, we think that they would give us a system that's good for us. Some of us don't pay attention to how those scriptural texts talk about African people. Some of us don't pay attention that it damns our spiritual system and condemns our spiritual systems, but it glorifies theirs. They glorify theirs. They damn ours, but they glorify theirs. We don't talk our language. We don't know exactly what people we come from. We don't know if we're a Khan, if we're a Santi. Some of us don't know this. We don't know if we Zulu. Some of us don't know if we are Ewe. Some of us don't know if we're Fanti. Some of us don't know if we Egbo. Some of us don't even know that. And guess what the African is left with? A book that some of us turn to trace our roots. And people who do that don't understand that, guess what? Your ancestors came from Ghana, or your ancestors came from Nigeria. Your ancestors came from Sierra Leone. Which, if you check historically, some of those countries weren't even named at a certain time. But nevertheless, though, that's the region, that's the country that some of your ancestors came from. And so my question to you is, have you ever considered to look into how did your people live their life before they were enslaved? What language did they talk before they were enslaved? What was our culture before we were enslaved? You know the reason why they don't want us to find this out, family? Because then we'll find ourselves and we'll find family orientation again. We'll find confidence who we are again, and we won't desire to be like another ethnic group. You know, some of us, we praise these other ethnic groups so much, and we talk about how family oriented they are. Family. May I bring to your attention that the European wasn't colonized? May I bring to your attention that the Chinese, who we love to praise so much, wasn't colonized? Can I bring to your attention the Ashkenazi Jew? Yes, they went through the what is that, Queen? The Holocaust. Yeah, they went through that. But they still know where they come from. They still know their language. See, we have to clear up this confusion today. We somehow think that racism doesn't exist. We somehow think that, we're equal because they have something in the Constitution that says we the people, family, look at the year that it was written and then have us in mind. This is the reason why the African keeps fighting all the time in this country. This is the reason why, if that is the case, then why do African people constantly have to remind these people that we're human, okay, that they're discriminated against us, okay, that they're harming us, they're doing us wrong, okay? And why is it that African people fight other African people about Eurocentric ideologies? Why is it that other African people are attacking other African people because they won't kneel down, okay, and salute a flag that was created during the time of our ancestors being oppressed? If we say we want truth, okay, let's talk about the truth then. Let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth then. Let's embrace the truth. Let's talk the truth. We say we want the truth. Okay, let's talk about it. Why does the African person call their spirituality satanic and demonic? Please tell me why. Why is it that we use Greek words? We use a book that's written by Europeans to justify why we don't practice our own spiritual system. And it's written in a language that's not even an African language, but we somehow think we have a leg to stand on. In our tongue, we don't say God. Do you know how many African languages, dialects there is in Africa? One of the languages, I know that I've learned is the Oduwa language, which some know as the Yoruba language, and we call the supreme creator Olodumare. Trace the word of God. Trace the linguistics of Jesus. That word comes from a Eurocentric tongue. So if it comes from a Eurocentric tongue, then how is it ours? But people get mad. People get upset. Don't you talk about my Jesus. Why is it that the African is so passionate about a system that is not theirs? Because guess what? I was once that man. So you're not talking to an unchurched heathen over here who don't know nothing about what he's talking about. I was raised in the church just like a lot of you. I didn't know what I know today, just like some of you don't know. And when I did my research and I found out that the kingdom is within was a saying that came from Kemet, okay, I was in awe. When I came to find out about the 16 crucified saviors, I was blown away. I was blown away when I found out that Asar, some know, is called the King of Kings. And Asar is known as the resurrection and the life. When I came to find that out, and I came to find out that predates the Bible, then I was like, oh, okay. So we've been duped. When I come to find out that Aset is really the name and not Isis, and how the Greeks, they came into Africa and how they embraced the African spirituality and how they started naming those Greek names like Horus, which is Heru, and Aset, they call them Isis. They're called Isis. When I start understanding that these same people who telling us to turn away from our gods are worshiping our own gods. Over in Greece, Isis came from Africa. When you pay attention to the biblical verse, and it says we got to get the confusion out of the way. When even in the book of Revelation it says he's known as the bright and morning star. That is the sun. The bright and morning star is the sun. But a lot of us, we don't know that. We of course, we weren't taught that. They didn't want us to know that. They didn't want us to know these things. They don't want you to come into the knowledge of yourself, because then you'll be independent, okay? And then you will have self-confidence, and then, okay, you will have the courage as well to stand up and fight against, okay, these colonized ideologies that they're trying to force on us. And they're just simply trying to tell us, oh, no, don't listen to that. No. Don't learn that. Because then they can't deceive you anymore. Then they can't keep, teaching these lies to us, just like they lied to us and told us that they're the doggone Nubians over in Africa with these movies like Moses and stuff like that. Okay, all Caucasian people, the gods of Egypt, Caucasian people. Yeah, man, they had a sprinkle of African people in there. They're not fooling me with that. They're not fooling me with that. They're trying to make themselves, okay, the kings and queens of Kemet, which some of you know as Egypt, and that's just not true. We got to clear the air up here, man. We got to get the confusion out of the way. Because some of us seem not to understand who and what we are and where we came from. And a lot of us don't want to deal with that. We want to stay in our comfort zone, and we want to keep worshiping and practicing, and I ain't trying to hear this, and the devil is a liar and all this other stuff like that. No, you need to be quiet, and you need to listen. You need to learn your history, your true history, okay, and shake off these lies that have been taught to you. The reason why a lot of us are in the mental state that we're in today is because we won't face the truth about our history, our true history, not what we learned in the books from these Eurocentric schools, education systems. No, we need to be taught by ourselves about ourselves, because we're not going to lie to ourselves about ourselves, because we have our own best interests at heart. Period. How can you trust in a system that was created to enslave you? And just because of January the 1st, 1863, just because of the Emancipation Proclamation, yes, we may have been set free physically, but we have not been set free mentally. My queen, she said, people are in disbelief and do not want to adhere to the facts. He who controls the pen and printing press writes the story. So we have to clear up the confusion about ourselves, because we know about George Washington, but we don't know about George Washington Carver. A lot of us know about Benjamin Franklin, but we don't know about Benjamin Banneker. And I have to revisit these things periodically because of this foolishness I'm hearing on the news, okay? And hearing these political figures, okay, stand up before the United States of America, okay, people of the same ethnicity as me, and saying that racism doesn't exist. America isn't a racist country. This is the reason why I'm saying it, because we as African people are confused, a lot of us in America and in Africa. We're confused. We don't recognize we're literally siding with an enemy that has an agenda to continue to keep us oppressed and to keep us blind mentally. So we can keep buying into these lies. They give us little trinkets here and there to pacify us. May throw you, you know what I'm saying, some dollars in the HBCU to pacify us. Oh, you know, they're going to come up with, you know, some laws, you know, stuff like that, you know, to help out the African people. Okay, but here's the thing, we're still seeing the injustices, okay, that has happened, okay, to our people. And yeah, we're still looking at the George Floyd situation. Yeah, we sitting around waiting. Okay, what are they going to do to the cops that stood around and didn't do nothing about it? Yeah, we got these small little wins out of the numerous cases in this country, okay, where they walk away for free. And then they get fired from one police force and they're able to be hired, the same cop that committed the hate crime, going to another police force and being hired again. But this is a place for liberty and justice for all, right? We're confused. We have to clear up the confusion. How is that justice? Is that really justice? Is that what they call justice? And then we have African people today online, and this is the reason why I'm coming on. I had to address this, man. I can't let this type of stuff slide. African people come online, okay, and telling another fellow African to stop talking about slavery. This is the reason why I'm saying we're confused. We're confused. You're telling us to stop talking about what happened to us, but nobody tells that to the Ashkenazi Jews about the Holocaust. They're not saying stop talking about post 9/11. See, we're confused. We're support Memorial Day, and none of those soldiers died to liberate the African from enslavement. You're confused. We're confused. We're confused. We got to clear up the confusion. You celebrate Independence Day, but you won't celebrate Kwanzaa, though. Independence Day had nothing to do with the Africans. I have to continuously keep giving some of you a history lesson. Because some of you don't know your history. You have not studied there is no way possible you could have studied history of Independence Day and celebrate it. There's no way. There is no way possible you could have studied Independence Day and still celebrate it. Because that is a day where the Englishman was freed from the British. And a lot of you love to talk about European people so much. Like they first of all, did you study the Boston Tea Party? Who was killing who? Being that we love to talk about so-called black on black crime so much. You don't want to talk about that though, do you? The Revolutionary War, they was killing each other. You don't want to talk about that. The Civil War, they was killing each other. But you don't want to talk about that. You love to praise the Caucasians like they're so perfect, but these are the same people that enslaved your ancestors, and these are the same people that won't allow money to come to your community, the finances to be allotted to you, and these are the same people that redline you. These are the same people who stole land from your ancestors and selling it back to their families. But you love them so much. You praise them so much that you talk about your own people and go marry them. You praise them so much when it was a Caucasian woman, brother. Who was the one that lied and said Emmett Till was whistling at her? Who was the one who started the war in Rosewood? Who was the one who caused Tulsa, Oklahoma to be bombed? A European woman. And these same Karens are being caught on cameras lying. But you got brainwashed African people who think that they're somehow better. And you got the brainwashed African woman that want to leave her man and go to them thinking that they're better. But that same ethnic group was the ones that enslaved your ancestors and raped them and took their names and took their culture. Huh? You don't want to talk about that though, do you? We don't want to talk about that. They want to ban you off of YouTube when you talk like this because they don't want the truth to be told about their deceitful behinds. Huh? The African person is messed up in our mind. We're confused. We don't even know who and what we are. And why are we confused? Because of colonized doctrine. Our clothes was taken away and we were given their clothes. Our names was taken away and given our name, their names. Excuse me. Our spirituality was taken away and then we was given their religion. But you got these brainwashed African people who want to talk about racism don't exist. It's interesting to me. It's interesting to me how over in these different states, there's wars going on right now with legal wars in the courts about hairdos. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Very interesting to me that the African person always have to fight about wearing our clothes, wearing our hairstyles. We got men, some men are afraid to drive around. They're afraid when they see police officers because initially they were slave catchers, right? Afraid. Got women afraid. These terroristic tactics. Unlawful search and seizures. We're confused. If it don't exist, then beloved, then I have a question for the African that glorifies America so much. Why is our men and women and why is it that you have so many African people now so afraid to be pulled over then? Where did that, if it never existed, then where did the fear come from? Riddle me that. If I never experienced something, then how can I be afraid of something that don't exist? If it don't exist, then why don't we want to name our children African names? Riddle me that. If it don't exist, then why is our spiritual systems demonized? And why is the African person constantly running away from themselves and embracing European ideologies over their own spiritual and traditional teachings? Why is that? If it don't exist, please tell me that. If it don't exist, why are you as an African talking English and you can't speak a lick of an African dialect? A user over in Facebook, over in the EYPLA movement group said 1700 through the 1920s, middle class Americans were on heroin, cocaine, morphine, and opium. Look at the types of clothes they wore in those photos. They are not wearing rags. Another you said in the EYPLA movement group, the Harrison Act. So family, I had to address this because we got to get the confusion. We got to clear up this confusion. Okay? We got to clear this up. When you're having people that's murdered, okay, that speak the truth, when you having people that's targeted, being called terrorists, that are freedom fighters, when you're literally having them killed, okay, and nobody can find the killer, when you have people like Zimmerman get off for doing the stuff they did to Trayvon Martin, things like that, then you're confused. You're confused. We have to clear up the confusion. When you have African people who will celebrate non-African holidays like Christmas and Easter, Memorial Day, 4th of July, you even got African people, talk about Cinco de Mayo. You got African people who will say Happy Hanukkah. You got African people who will wear green on St. Patrick's Day, but when it comes to an African holiday, there's a hush that come over the crowd. We got to clear the confusion up, man. This has been going on too long. It's been going on too long. And I'm getting ready to sign down here. But it's something that I really had to bring attention to. We're going to continue to talk about these things. Okay, because African people need to wake up. You got confused Republicans, okay, who want to talk about how our people were Republicans back in the day. Well, that was before the situation changed. Check your history. Back in the day, okay, back in the day, they're not now. Some of them are, some of them not. But see, the ones who do that, they want to hold on to, oh, our ancestors were Republicans, so they should be. Well, your ancestors stopped being Republicans for a reason too. God, I'm sitting up there supporting, a racist who was in power, Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, we confused. We confused. Oh, I can go out here and get a job. Oh, I can get a degree. You're not making any sense. You act like because you got a degree and because you got a job, like there's not another African person that hasn't faced being discriminated against because your African behind got a job. You're not making sense. You're never above your people. And this is the problem with Africans in America. We are deranged. You think that you're better than your people. You come from the hood and you go to Hollywood, and now you're better than us now. Oh, you get a white collar job. You understand what I'm saying? Because you had somebody who used you so they won't get affirmative action taken against you, but you too blind to see that. It's not that many of you in there either, and it's not because they don't have degrees. Do you know how many of our people are graduating from HBCUs with degrees? Thousands. Thousands. Do you know how many African people are qualified to get loans, business loans, that have good credit, but they keep coming up with something else? Stop playing with me. Don't play with me. Take that garbage somewhere else and throw it in the can where it belongs, because that's trash. That's garbage. The problem is you become so big-headed, okay, that you forget about the disadvantages that happen to African people. Systemic racism. So you confused. And yes, we could start our own. That sounds real good. It sounds real good when it takes money to start a business. That sound real good. Oh, you could just go start your own. Anybody that start a business know it takes money to run a business. And how many of us have the resources to do that? Not to say we can't. We start businesses. I'm from the hood. I get it. You understand? But it don't negate the fact that when you need these big, hefty loans and you need, you know what I'm saying, 6 figures and 7 figures to do what you're trying to do, you know what I'm saying? You got to understand, a lot of our people pockets are not that deep. And not only ours, theirs not either. Why do you think they get loans? Who's going to exhaust their own personal capital like that? This is the purpose of learning how to leverage credit and to turn it into cash. They don't all use their own personal money. This is where business credit coming in, Paydex score. Use your Dun & Bradstreet, building up your business credit. You understand? And we can have all the things. We can have everything in place, But because of our face, we'll get denied. It's not always because we're lazy. It's not always because we don't have the confidence. It's because we're being discriminated against. And we become targeted. And also because of misappropriation of funds. Taxes supposed to fix the roads, right? So why do our roads in our hood look like that? Oh, okay. So you telling me one of our own people went out there with a jackhammer and broke up the road like that? Last time I checked, taxes are to fix those type of things. We're not talking about the stuff that we do far as throwing trash all over the place. We're talking about, you know what I'm saying, not having proper reading material. The school is dilapidated, being broke. No, we talking about that, where people like us go to work and we get taxed, but there's no funding that we pay taxes for our schools to be fixed up. This is what we're talking about. No matter how successful I become, I'm never above my people. Even if I don't live in the hood, I want to see people in the hood living good too. Everybody in the hood not robbing, stealing, killing, shooting. We got some hardworking mamas and daddies. We got some of our young people that chose to do the right thing instead of the wrong thing, okay, so they can get the come up. Everybody is not doing that to get the come up. And it says they was growing opium first. Cambodia. Queen Vivian said 35% to 40% taxes. So I'm just on here to clear up the confusion, family. I'm getting ready to tune out. For those of you who stay tuned in, thank you so much for staying tuned in. I greatly appreciate that. Love you all. I appreciate you all. I pray that you have a blessed rest of your day. You know, but we cannot get anywhere. Keep that in mind. We can't get anywhere if we don't have these real family discussions like this, you know, about what's going on. Okay. And I personally don't believe in being silent. I believe that we need to be that voice. We need to be that trumpet. Because let me tell you something. My cousin did not come to me years ago. And I give thanks and praise to the universe and to our ancestors for my cousin coming to me and sharing with me these same truths. And I'm talking about our spirituality. Okay. If my cousin was silent, I would not be where I am today. I would not be awakened today. I would still be that same person that's following after those lies, just like some of you are right now. So for those of you who are awakened, continue to go wake up those who are asleep. Continue to challenge us to let go of these colonized ideologies that are incarcerating us and keeping us stagnant. Continue to be that voice. Continue to be that trumpet. Continue to sound the alarm and wake us up. Because it will not happen by us being quiet. Peace, love, power. Make sure that you stay tuned in this week on Wednesday. Okay, economic empowerment on Wednesday. Make sure you tune in on Friday, family. We have the relationship empowerment for you on Friday. Okay, so we love you all. We appreciate you all. And you all have a blessed one. And matter of fact, on this Wednesday, we won't be doing it this Wednesday. Have to go see my mom's before my mom's leave here. Okay, she's heading out back to Rochester, New York. You know, so I want to make sure I pay my respects to my moms before she go back. to our home city and state. All right. So you continue to have a blessed rest of your day and week, and we'll be talking to you soon. Peace.